Hello everybody, welcome to another daily race, Gran Turismo. I'm starting out in 8th position and I'm driving the Generation 4 Volkswagen Scirocco, which is a car that has front engine, front wheel drive, drivetrain. A lot of the other cars that you see out here are like a lot of Jaguars, Toyota Supras, Lamborghinis. These are the meta cars, and when they call these meta cars, because every week, depending on what course it is, the top ranking drivers all over the world use qualifying times, and they all use the same car. So typically in these races, everyone wants to use the same cars as the meta drivers, the best in the world. The meta cars, the best in the world are using. Well, I'm not there yet. I'm just a really fast C, middle pack B level driver right now. So, and I'm just gonna go as far as I can with what I know until I have to conform and do what everybody else is doing. But I chose Scirocco because we're racing in Interlagos right now, which is it's a very technical course. It has a lot of like hairpin turns, a lot of switchbacks, and for these cars that the meta cars, they're front engine, rear drive cars, and they have a tendency to get a lot of oversteer in a lot of places. And a lot of inexperienced drivers, especially at this level, they haven't quite mastered how to control and throttle control in the turns. So, and neither have I, probably for the most part. But I chose the Volkswagen because it's easier for me to drive a front-wheel drive car on a course like this, and plus, in the real world, I drive a souped-up Honda Civic, basically, this supercharged, and it's also front-wheel drive. So I know how to drive, and I know how to manage the torque steer and understeer that usually goes with front-wheel drive cars. So in the ending of the first lap, I'm in 5th position. I began in 8th. So what I did in my qualifying times, I really didn't try to get the best qualifying time because I don't like to start at the front of the pack. I'd much rather start at the rear of the pack and work my way up, because this way your driver rating can increase. Because it's not good to have pole position because you got a really good lap in qualifiers, and then you go to the race in pole position and you end up in 5th or 6th place, you lose your driver ranking. So I prefer to be at the rear and work my way up. Now I'm already working my way up to 4th place. 3rd place, I'm going to change views here so you can see my perspective. Chase cam. I've already, on the second lap, I've already moved up to 2nd place, and it's like I got a pretty good lead on the entire class, except for this guy behind me in the Toyota Supra, and he pretty much keeps me honest through the entire race. He stays on my tail, and just like me, he doesn't make any mistakes. He's very consistent, and in a lot of these races, because I watched this video a little bit earlier, and a lot of the drivers that I'm looking at from their race cams, they're making a lot of mistakes. They're overshooting the turns. They're not shifting right, and they're not consistent. And that adds up over a period of a race, because you can make a really good, get the best lap on lap 2, but if you make a lot of mistakes the rest of the race, you're not going to make that time up, and you're not going to end up at the end of the race. As I stated in the last video, I may not have the fastest times, but I'm the best, I'm the most consistent, and I know my braking points. I know how to do the trail braking. I know how to line up the turns, and I try to stay in the race line. This was actually a really good race. Probably the best one I've had all week, because I've come back to this race a few times, try to work my way up, because initially at the beginning of the week I did terribly because I was in B class, and I had a couple of takeouts, and a couple of races where I was doing well, but as I stated in the other video, the drivers may not be the best at this level, and you can get taken out, and you can start out really good, and you can have your race ruined in the very first turn. So I pretty much been playing catch up, and this was like my final race, and actually I finished this race and I'm back up in B class again. So, and I think this is going to probably be the most I'm going to do this week. I'm going to just kind of wait till the daily races next week and see how it pans out. but this was actually my best showing all week, and I'm really proud that I beat the entire class with a Volkswagen Scirocco. I'm smoking these Lamborghinis and these Toyota Supras and these Jaguar F-Types and stuff, and I got my little Volkswagen. Like right here, it's like just because it's a front-wheel drive car, I'm using my brake balance, which is on the rear, to push my front end down to gain traction. And if you look at my camera, you can rewind this video, you can see cars that are behind me, I'm typically pulling away from them in the turns because I'm doing this. They're struggling with having to deal with oversteer because you can set your assist to this game to take off traction control, you know, which I have the same thing. But if other drivers do this, they have to be careful because in the tight areas they can lose control of the car. But I don't have to worry about it in this front wheel drive car because if I just spin out, I'm just going straight. I don't have to worry about my rear end coming out and blowing off the course. Yeah, this guy behind me in this Supra pretty much kept me honest the entire race because he didn't pull back, and actually in the final lap he actually gained some ground on me, and I actually made a few mistakes, which allowed him to catch up with me a little bit. But he almost caught me, but I managed to make it up in the final turns, which you'll see coming in the last lap, and I managed to pull it off. And thanks to everyone in this race that drove really sportsman. Everyone drove good, and there were no dirty drivers. I saw a few kisses and a few rear ends and stuff, but it's like none of it was intentional, because when you're out here racing, you're gonna have some collisions. But there have not been any dirty driving that I've seen in this race. And thanks to the guy behind me here, man. You know, thanks for driving clean, because I actually saw some perspective on you, and you could have easily took me out in a turn to gain position and stuff, but you didn't. So thanks for driving clean, because trust me, it's like I'll pay it forward in future races that I'm in, and I'll try to drive clean too. So we're in the final lap here, position 2. I think this guy got a second win, and he's gonna gain some ground on me, and he's gonna try to pull it. She's gonna try to take my second place position from me. So he's on my tail. He's actually gaining on me a little bit. This turn here, I hit it just right. Go down to second, trail brake, go up to third, mid-turn, stick to the inside line. So when you play this game, you also find brake markers on the track that you use. That's what the little signs are on the side of the track that show 50 and 100. Those are your brake markers, so you can determine where you do your brakes, where you're coming up on your turns. Yeah, he's getting real close right here. He could almost take me out. He's catching up. Right there, he could have easily probably punted me from the course right there and taken me out, because that's happened in many races that I've been in. And at the very end of the race, there'll be some jerk or some prick that'll punt me from the course to take the position. A lot of times what happens though, you can get a penalty for that, and what'll happen at the end of the race, you may not have to stop at the penalty marker, but they'll add time to your lap time, and you may end up behind the person that you punted. So that's a good thing about polyphony, that they do have the penalty system in place for that. Second place. I was really happy with this showing, so thanks for watching this video, guys. This is all done in VR also.